us alive tonight.
We are not the same, I'm too leveraged. I told them all to hedge, but they never measured. Now they're crying while I'm counting blessings, charting all my pain and turning into lessons. Ain't no patience left, no second guessing. I buy the fear, they regress in depression. Market demons always testing, but I move like I got inside a confession. Everyone around me's getting lazy. Talking dreams but never chase so crazy. I don't chase a bag, I let it chase me. Crypto wallet looking like a lucid dream. Try to short me, I made them believers. Turn drawdowns into golden receivers. You can hate me, but you'll quote my lines. Every candle burns in time. Tick, 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 tick. Last year broke, but I saw the vision. This year I'm a god in my own division. Shorter dreams without precision. Now they marching called into submission. I don't believe the noise, I'm still a winner. Flip drawdowns into steak dinners. Ride waves like I'm built from glitter. I'm the villain in my Discord ticker. Roll some, think I'll roll some. Scope some, till the lows come. Charts crash, but I rise. Every bear's just a setup for my next time. My broker said I made it big unusual. They screenshot my gains like they're confessional. Used to trade for basements, now I own the building. Used to chase highs, now I print the feeling. They tried to short me, I made them believers. Turn drawdowns into golden receivers. You can hate me, but you'll quote my lines. Every candle burns in time. Tick, 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 tock.
Oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a very interesting, if you will, Monday, October the 13th, where we're all here to try to answer the question, are we buying the dip or are we selling the rip? Folks, Friday was brutal. Friday was absolutely brutal. I have a feeling that some of you in here were degenerate, and whether it was skill or luck, regardless, I'm sure there's people listening right now who got to ride the entire move down on Monday. You probably did some sort of degenerate 0 DT or futures trade, and you're probably feeling great. And I get it. Congrats to you. I'm not trying to take away from that whatsoever. But the rest of the world, myself included, it was almost a form of paralysis, a deer in the headlight situation. And every single time I was like, should I get out? I was like, well, this is support. Let's see if it gives it a shot to bounce. And I'd come back 10 minutes later, and it was how many ever points below that. So if you manage to make money or come out of Friday unscathed, legitimately a massive congrats to you. If you were like me and just absolutely got taken to the wood chipper on Friday, my feelings go out to you. It was absolutely brutal, and it is a reminder of the certain aspects of the market. This is how it can go. This is how it can behave. It's like it's really, really easy when times are good and we're getting those slow grinds to the upside, and you're like, you know what? The bulls have been controlled. It's small. I'll throw in a little bit more leverage. I'll be a little loosey-goosey with my stops. And then before you know it, you get those surprise events like Friday where there was a clear overreaction to what was going on with the US and China. And then because of the option setup and some of I'm really talking about the gamma structure, we were primed for kind of a cataclysmic sell-off. And I get that we are falling off, quote unquote, from the all-time high. So in reality, when in doubt, zoom out. But in the moment, like being there intraday, it does definitely have a different feeling to it for sure. So we're here today to figure out are we BTFD? Are we buying that effing dip? Or are we selling that effing rip? I had a breakdown video yesterday. I implore all of you guys to watch it. You probably should have already watched it, but maybe if you're bored during lunch today or something, I very, very much would say you should watch that breakdown video because it gets into why the market is already green today. So before we dive into this unique circumstance, I do want you to know that there is interesting stats surrounding the market related to panic selling on Friday. And the stat basically goes like this, is when people are panic selling on Friday, generally the end of the day on Friday in a panic sale situation is a good time to buy. Historically, there are gap ups on Monday, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now. But really the sentiment behind it is people calm down over the weekend. Generally people, whether it is quote unquote good news, bad news, whatever, it's just this idea of in the moment, people are kind of panic trading, they're emotional trading, while over the weekend, people have the opportunity to calm down, digest the news, like kind of attack the market with more of a cooler head type of an argument. So that's the sentiment behind it. But the stats are, if we panic sell into a Friday, end of day buying on Friday is statistically a smart play. And obviously this is already seemingly playing out. I was talking about this a little bit in the Discord, and this was actually, I first learned of this in that book, Long-Term Secrets of Short-Term Trading by Larry Williams. So we were talking about it a little bit on Friday. Unfortunately for me, I ended up attempting to buy the dip. I did add to my bullish positions, but I personally, just to be completely transparent, mistimed it. I did it midday when the S&P 500 dipped to around 6,700. So even as of right now, I'm still underwater, even on my dip buy, no less my other positions. You guys are saying AVGO is plus 11%. I think I have it. Don't I have AVGO? Mom? I do. Holy shit. I do. So hang on. This is interesting. What happened with AVGO? I do have it, and I was not looking at my portfolio because things were really messed up. I was down 12K, down 70%. What is the news? Like, I'm telling you, I was avoiding my entire portfolio over the weekend because of the immense amount of pain I was in. Like, we're talking close to like $150,000. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Dude, are we starting our comeback tour? Are we starting our comeback tour, folks? It is up 12% in pre-market trading. Closed out today at 324, currently trading at 365. We're actually above. Dude, I'm in the money and I have time. All right, dude, we might be making a little bit of a comeback here. And I truly forgot about this. I try to really forget about the entire market over the weekend, because going into the weekend, like, I'm not kidding, I was down $150,000. Like, you're hearing me right. 150 followed by 3 more zeros and then a period and then 2 more zeros. It was not pretty, folks. It was not pretty at all. So that's kind of why I forgot what the fuck was going on. And I'm going to need a bit of a miracle, folks. I'm going to need a bit of a miracle to survive this one. I don't think I'm going to completely lose everything. And like I said, my dip buy was roughly, I believe, or no, it wasn't. It was at 11. My dip buy was way too early. I do have a little bit of time. As you saw, I have basically up until October 24th. So I do have time for this recovery. But we're going to see how this plays out. Your boy, I'm right there with you, folks. Once again, if you manage to make money or get unscathed, seriously, that takes massive skill, massive balls, a lot of luck. You deserve it. I was unfortunately not in that group, and I had to watch all this, and that's where I kind of just rage quit on Friday, and we're bouncing back. So let me kind of cover everything that's going on. But Right here, Broadcom stock soars 10% on OpenAI custom chip deal, adding to NVIDIA and AMD agreement. So that's the big news. But all right, here's what. Whoa there, Tonto. Whoa there, Tonto. Hang on. What was it? Let's get that tab back. Dow futures jumped 400 points after Trump says China's situation will be all fine. So that is the major news that happened on Friday and over the weekend. And before, sorry, I got distracted with Broadcom. Finally, I'm seeing a little bit of green in my accounts. But anyway, going into the weekend, the hot story is China. And I did a much better than I'm going to be able to do this morning, breaking down the situation in the update video from yesterday. And now this is why the third time I'm bringing it up. You got to pay attention to that video, because right now, the entire narrative, the entire story is being pitched as a giant misunderstanding. So like I said, that's the TLDR. Those are the headlines. But if you want the details of it, please watch that video. So of course, I'll do my best to explain it this morning, but there are other things to also consider today. Right here, Gaza hostages are freed, ending a 2-year ordeal. So obviously this is a large global issue with just strife in the Middle East, and it looks like tensions are calming down. So hey, that's a good thing. Obviously, just as a person on this planet, it's good when we are not doing this type of crap. So hopefully the peace stays for a while. Hamas releases first Israeli hostages under Trump brokered ceasefire. Once again, very, very good news. The war is over, Trump says on a historic day for the Middle East. So it might be ongoing right now, but I know earlier today, Trump was actually giving a speech, and there's a lot of other people there and all related to this. But once again, across the board, that is a good situation. Trump arrived in Tel Aviv earlier Monday to mark the release of the Israeli hostages by Hamas after more than 2 years in captivity. As he arrived at the Israeli parliament, where he is due to speak, and this is now already concluded, Trump told reporters that Hamas will disarm. On being asked whether the war was over, Trump told reporters yes. So this is other, obviously, clearly important, impactful news. I wanted to cover it. This is a very good situation. Amazing. Government shutdown. Vanna says fraud is rife with ACA tax credit use. Bringing it a little bit more local, bringing it back to the U.S., obviously beyond the craziness of Friday. Remember, the other thing we're considering still is the fact that the government is shutting down, or is shut down, which is going to have an impact on a lot of the data drops that we thought we were going to get this week. And as you're about to see, we're probably not going to. According to Polymarket, they are 98.8% confident that the shutdown will go past October 15th, as in 2 days. And then when you go over to Kohrs, the odds right here, you could just see it keeps increasing. We are now up to the estimated idea of the shutdown is 33 days. I remember back when it was 20 and we're like, wow, that's really spiking. And now they're all the way up to 33. So most likely this will be going into November, which has a huge implication on monetary policy, because remember the FOMC meeting, that's the meeting where the Fed and the voting members decide what to do with the Fed fund rate. That's at the end of October, I believe the 28th or the 29th. Let me just double check that for everyone. It's either the 28th or the 29th, right about. Where is it? Right here, October 29th. So if you look at this, the shutdown's going to go past that, as in going into this FOMC meeting where they are currently 97% confident that we will be getting a 25 bips rate cut. They're going to have to be deciding that rate cut with no idea of what in the world the jobs numbers are. Remember, as the government shut down, so is the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Not only are they not giving out the data, but they're not collecting new data while they are shut down. So a lot of implications there, something to consider. Beyond that, this week, tomorrow, Tuesday the 14th, Powell will be speaking, the chairman of the Fed. That's midday tomorrow, 12:20. So during lunch, Powell is speaking. Wednesday, CPI report. Thursday, retail sales, PPI, manufacturing. Once again, some of these are questionable. And then obviously on Friday, the ones that every single Friday, maybe we get it, maybe we don't. Non-farm payrolls, employment rates. So there's a lot of maybes this week, all worthwhile to pay attention to. And one thing that we haven't spoken about in a while is we're back, baby. Earnings season is back, and we are officially kicking off tomorrow with a lot of major financial reports. BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citi, Wells Fargo, and then outside of finance, we also have Johnson & Johnson. Later on, Wednesday, ASML. That's going to be big in the world of AI, and this is, they make the machines that are used to make all those GPUs. Dollar Tree, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. Also on Wednesday, we have United. Fast forward to Thursday, TSMC, another one in the AI world. Charles Schwab, obviously a financial play, and then later on this week, Interactive Brokers, American Express. So we have not spoken about earnings in a while, and for good reason. It was not earnings, but we are now officially in earnings season. So not only will this have an impact on the larger market, some of your favorite ETFs, but if you happen to be trading these individual names, you might want to be paying attention. So those are all the other things that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Yes, we got some clearly nice, positive, progressive steps between Hamas and Israel. So that is great. Remember, the U.S. government is still shut down. That's going to have large implications as long as we are still shut down. And we're starting off earnings season. So that is all part of the craziness that's going on. But the real main dish of craziness is what happened Friday. The Dow drops almost 900 points. S&P 500 declines the most since April after Trump's new China tariff threat. Like I said, I implore you to watch the update video from yesterday. I'm just going to give you the major stuff you need to know. But around 10:57 on Friday, October the 10th, we realized that Trump was not happy with China as it relates to the rare earth exports. And right here, you get the idea that a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products coming into the U.S. So he's like, this was midday. This is what caused the sell-off. You could see this right here. It started, like I said, 10:57. That's when we started to get clocked. And then from there, after the market closed around 4:50, we realized that, hey, if he doesn't get what he wants by November 1st, it's going to be a 100% tariff. So during the trading day, we didn't know the number. We just knew he was pissed off. And then after the market actually closed, almost an hour after the market closed, that's when they're like, nope, it's going to be 100%, and they have till November 1st. Then that was, like I said, after market close on Friday. From then until now, the story itself has taken a lot of crazy turns. Trump posts lops off $2 trillion from stocks in a single day. And now, even though that was a huge loss, it was almost $800 billion just from tech itself, but $2 trillion in total. And then the numbers are as large. We saw the largest liquidation in history in the crypto market because everyone's trading perp contracts with massive leverage, and it ends absolutely horribly. And now, as I was alluding to, the story itself is taking crazy turns because now they're saying it was actually just a giant misunderstanding. Investors are waking up to some major news from China. This was yesterday. The entire tariff crash on October 10th may have just been one big misunderstanding between President Trump and President Xi. You are hearing that right. They are now chalking this $2 trillion loss. $2 trillion loss. People blowing out their crypto accounts. I'm even hearing crazy stories of, unfortunately, people took their lives. There were some crypto influencers who I guess lost all their money, and in a very depressed spiral, they ended up taking their lives. And now it's all saying, nope, one giant misunderstanding. The news about China's rare earth export controls came out on October 9th at 8:30 a.m., 26 hours before Trump posted about it. Once again, this came out on Thursday morning. Trump didn't respond till Friday, and then fast forward to Friday night, it's going to be 100%. Fast forward to Sunday, nope. This is actually just a giant misunderstanding. This was a non-news event until President Trump posted it over 1 day later. Last night, China released a statement clarifying their export controls on rare earths. In the response, China said the new controls are not, once again, not a full export ban, and applications that meet regulations will be approved. Amid the market's downturn on Friday, our view was that the 100% tariff announced by Trump was a bargaining chip. Of course it was. Whether you want to call it just like high intensity leverage technique, while you want to call it a taco, whatever it is, you could already see that the market is saying, this is a bit crazy. Unfortunately, still serious damage is done. Obviously, a lot of people with 0DT positions on Friday, that position's over. A lot of people trading on leverage, those accounts are done. So even though we're like, we're probably just going to bounce back most likely to exactly where we were, I cannot, it is my duty to really point out the fact that, okay, it's not one of these things of oops, sorry, there's a misunderstanding. No, there are real implications here. Absolutely wild. But anyway, after China's statement last night, this was Saturday night, we believe the odds of Trump's 100% tariff going on China are extremely low, and we already clearly know that. And then fast forward now to this morning, Trump advance opened the door to China deal as trade spat drags on. And I think we even have a little bit of a breakdown here. Hang on, shout out to Bloomberg. Let's see if we could
Let's
actually
look
get
back on
this.
what we've heard so far, really from both sides. President Trump says tariffs for China are still the plan, starting from November 1st. But speaking on board the Air Force One today, he called Chinese President Xi Jinping a, quote, smart man and a great leader.
I think we're going to be fine with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi. He's a very tough man. He's a very smart man. He's a great leader for their country. He's a great leader. And I have a great relationship with him. I think we'll get it set. I know what happened. I really understand what happened. And I'm not even saying he's wrong. But then we met him with something much tougher than what he did to us. Again, because of the tariffs, it's much tougher.
Let's bring in our China correspondent, Min Lo. She joins us live from Shanghai here this morning. It seems like, at least for now, Trump is pulling negotiations back from the brink just a little bit.
That's right. Well, President Trump also wrote on Truth Social. He said, don't worry about China. Everything is going to be fine. And it seems like President Trump is anxious to reassure markets that this is not going to spiral out of control while he continues to put pressure on China to roll back some of the retaliatory moves that we have seen so far. We hear the same thing from J.D. Vance on Fox News as well, urging China to take the reasonable path here, saying the U.S. will reciprocate with reasonable measures as well. But so far, from the Chinese side, we have heard the Chinese Commerce Ministry saying that threatening China with tariffs at every turn is not the right way to deal with China, and China will not hesitate to retaliate as necessary to protect their legitimate rights and interests. And so far, we have seen the tightening of the rare earth controls as the strongest sort of long-arm jurisdiction that China has attempted so far when it comes to rare earths, because it applies to overseas exporter of products that contain even trace elements of Chinese rare earths, and this could have important implications on the tech supply chain, right? Analysts are saying it could cause weeks-long delay of shipments of equipment from the likes of ASML. It could raise prices as well. And it seems like China is increasingly confident of the pain that they could inflict from its supply chain dominance. And they're willing to use that in exchange for tolerating incremental increases in the sort of export controls that we are seeing from the US, and even higher tariffs as well.
All right, so we're kind of all on the same story here. On Thursday, China comes out with something related to rare earth minerals and the exports of it. A day later, Trump responds. Like 26 hours later, Trump responds right before 11 a.m. ET. Market vomits. Not only did price absolutely dive, but you could see what happened here in the Mag 7. You could see the moment it happened. This was one of the largest delta notional drop-offs I've ever seen. A drop of 4.4 billion. If you look at the S&P 500, same thing. This is the largest drop I've ever seen. A drop of 18 billion in delta notional value. So not only did price drop, but you see options go absolutely crazy. People selling calls, buying protection, buying puts, and the extreme nature of the price drop off was definitely fueled by this. We tilted into negative gamma, and remember, when you tilt into negative gamma, you're no longer getting mean reversion from market makers. The market makers, to hedge out their own books, are going to keep it going in the same direction. Positive gamma, negative gamma is not bullish or bearish. It tells you about price reversion or continuation. It's either sticky price or slippery price. For this entire, bullish push to the upside, this was all being supported by a lot of positive gamma underneath. So every time we dipped a little bit, the market makers ended up coming in as a natural buyer. And then you see what happens when you lose that positive gamma. When you lose the positive gamma, and the trend is negative, well, this is when you could get a drop of 2.7% just like that. So prices went absolutely nuts. And now fast forward to some of the developments over the weekend. We're on top of it. And like I said, I did a better job breaking it all down in yesterday's update video. We're getting a lot of positive words from Trump on President Xi. We're getting a lot of positive words from Vice President Vance on Xi and talking about the relationship, and it's great. And now it brings up the major question of buy the dip. Should we do it? Should we be buying the effing dip? Buy the dip call grows louder as China sell-off seen contained. my question to all of you, obviously, I don't even know if I'm a non-biased party now because, like I said, going into the weekend, my trading accounts had a hole of about 150K. Granted, it looks like some of that hole is going to get cleaned up this morning, and it looks like I'm getting helped out by certain names like Avago here. So ideally, it shouldn't be that bad. But based on everything you guys are understanding of the situation, do you agree with this? I'm like, actually, this is not rhetorical. I'm like legitimately asking you because I view it as a buy the dip situation. It seems like it's just being painted as a misunderstanding, most likely because China's economy is already on tilt, whether it's the combination of their real estate issue, their population issue, the shadow banking issue, the general, I guess, populace now not really being so supportive of the authoritarian government. Like, there's many reasons why the economy was already weakening. And in this moment of weakening, if Trump applied the right pressure at the right time, such as a 100% tariff increase, it could really send their economy to spiral. And China is well aware of that. Would it most likely be mutually assured destruction? Yeah, but coming into this situation, the U.S. has a stronger, on a relative basis, a stronger economy, as in we could take more of a hit than they can before things really get bad. So because this is all pretty evidently well known, the President Trump can clearly, at the right time, apply the right pressure, and he's going to get what he wants. So I think even without them trying to walk it back over the weekend, there was a very, very good chance that China was basically going to do what Trump wanted because just, hey, he holds the cards. And now we're actually seeing that speed up because of already what we're seeing play out over the weekend of like, nope, giant misunderstanding. Like, clearly, no one really wants this quote unquote spat to get out of control. And that's why we're already seeing a little bit of a gap up. The issue now is, really, it's going to come down to, I see this, maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't, but where it's really going to come down is to the market at large. When the market gets rocking today, are we going to see a bunch of people come in and actually start buying because they're viewing it as a discount from, we've only bounced up 50%. Like, this can easily go one way or the other, like without a freaking doubt. So I'm very, very curious to see, obviously, today's trading session. I want to see the flow, but I do want to remind you, we're in a lot of negative gamma. Once again, because I'm saying negative gamma, that's not bullish or bearish. It means pay attention to the trend because whichever way this trends, it can really get trending. Of course, folks, even though I'm bullish, I will be the first to let you know that if we start to puke out of the gate and all of a sudden it seems like the market wants to retest the lows that we had on Friday, well, at that point, we might then be testing the 50 EMA. And if that cracks, it's probably going to cause some panic because not only is price still going down, but guess what? The market makers are going to be going short, making the move worse. That is one case. The other case is actually not only do we start drifting to the upside and do it at a higher speed, because once again, we have this negative gamma. And if we go up, the market makers are going to buy the underlying. But in that case, because we have so many puts in play now, which we have not had in a minute, you could actually see what's referred to as a Vanna rally, VANNA, a Vanna rally. And the hallmarks of that are basically right here. Right here, price starts to go up, the market makers support it by buying, all of a sudden vol starts to drop. When I'm saying vol, I mean like the actual VIX. This drops, and then that means all the market makers who were hedging out the puts that were purchased on Friday, well, they don't have to hedge as much, so they take the shorts off the table. How do you take shorts off the table? You buy. So we have a 2x factor of them not having to protect their shorts, but they now have to protect calls. So that's, you're almost getting the combination of a gamma squeeze and a Vanna rally. That's another potential thing that you have to consider today, which could actually launch us all the way back up to 6,700. So I get right now that you're thinking like, okay, Matt, you're basically telling us we could violently go up or down. What am I supposed to do with that? But remember, that is always trading. When you're actively trading, I'm not talking about investing, but as an active trader, that's what this game is. It's a bunch of if-then statements. If we start to see this trend up, okay, pay attention to these key levels, write them down, do whatever you need to, watch for the breakouts or breakdowns. On the other side, if we start to break down, these are the things you have to consider. So whenever people come in and I find that they're attempting to predict of like, I'm predicting bullishness, I'm predicting bearishness. That's not really, at least the way I approach the market, the appropriate thing to do. I think the appropriate thing to do is to react. Understand all of the details and the nuances of the bull case, understand all the details and the nuances of the bear case, and then once one seems to be coming to fruition, see if you could ride that trend with a low risk entry. So I'm letting you know that I'm trying to be balanced here and I'm trying to understand, like I said, the bull case and the bear case, but I also want to let you know that there's a good chance I'm probably at least subconsciously biased towards the bull side because I didn't get out of any of my positions because my interpretation, even though very painful on Friday, my interpretation was that it was going to blow over very quickly. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I have time. I can let you know that I'm at least enjoying the fact that we're not gapping down right now. The 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 30 minute, the 4 hour, everything's still like a little bit questionable here. We're going to be finding out. We're going to be finding out very, very soon. So feel free to write these levels down. As you guys know, I already mark out the high, the low, the closing value. As of this moment, we appear to be opening up at 6634, which means that we're opening up all the way up here. Wow, look at that. Actually, I have to go back out to the 10 minute. Check that out. We closed at 6552 and we were opening all the way up here. Basically where we had the first attempt at like dip buying around noon on Friday. We're opening all the way up here within the transition zone. So it's bound to be a crazy day. Remember, it's going to be leverage that kills you. This is not the time to oversize. I mean, we saw it, unfortunately, on Friday. We saw it in the crypto market over the weekend on top of Friday.
Order submitted. Order.
What?
Order filled.
That doesn't seem right. The fuck? I don't even know. How does one make $1.90? I didn't even know that was a chance. You know, I guess we're starting off with one of those days. I guess that's how we're doing it. All right. Of course, what I'm attempting to do before I got a little surprised there by Icarus is I wanted to be calm, cool, collected, and just give things a chance to play out and see how it is. But look at that rebound that we're already seeing. We went from crazy red to now a lot of green. Avago on that AI news, open AI news, up 7.2%. Oklo's up 7.5. CoreWeave's up 1.9. Oracle's up 1.9. SoFi's up 3.5. Nvidia's up 3.2. Tesla's up 2.7. Microsoft's almost up 1. Apple is up 1. Palantir's up 1.6. AMD is up 2.6. So as of now, we're seeing some interesting signs that maybe the world is healing. Obviously, we're not back to where we were at the extremes on Friday in a positive sense, but hey, at least we're seeing a little bit of green across the board. Oh, I forgot. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Oklo is ripping it up 9%. So Oklo and Avago are the biggest gainers on my watch list. SoFi is looking pretty good. Actually, Tesla's looking pretty good. Nvidia's looking pretty good. So, I mean, relative to where we closed, things are now, like I said, seemingly healing, but a lot of time left in the day. I just want to remind you, am I biased? Probably, because I have a lot of bullish positions, and I would love nothing more than to get back to 6,700. I would love nothing more than to get back to 6,700 and even higher. But I'll be the first to let you know that even this is the transition zone, 6625 to 6680. That's a giant question mark. Above it, maybe the bulls have a real shot. Below it, the bears might be sending us down to hit the closing value on Friday. So in this, it's going to be a little choppy, a little bit of a transition. Obviously, we'll be paying attention to the options flow to get an idea of what in the world is happening. But relative to what we've been seeing for weeks now, I cannot stress this enough, folks. We are in negative gamma. When we get going, we can really get going. Generally, when I show you this, it's a bunch of purple. It's a lot of sticky price action, just not much happening. Right now, it is different. The market structure is different. The gamma structure is different. This is one of those times where if you're playing with size and leverage, you just shouldn't be. You have to be extremely careful because when this gets going, this could really, really get going. So I'm hoping when we quote unquote get going, I hope it's the opposite of this. I hope it's to the upside. I would love it to be a BTFD type of a thing. Jesus, Oklo just keeps going. Oklo's up 11%. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's crazy. Also be watching vol here. Vol seemingly calming down a little bit. We did rip all the way up to 22 and some change. It was weaker earlier this morning at one point down to 19, but I'd love to see that vol collapse. What's going on with Netflix? Netflix is getting hit to the downside, potentially putting in a lower high there. So pay attention there with Netflix. We'll do that breakdown and we'll do that reversal over there. But Bitcoin trying to recover a little bit at 115. Obviously, the Friday sell-off, the base that we're measuring it from is 122. So it still has some work to do, I suppose. But we're going to find out today. We are going to find out today. You could have a gamma squeeze in either direction. If you don't know what a gamma squeeze is, it's a phenomena that relates to the world of the options market. When you are in negative gamma, if you get going to the positive side, the market makers, the people selling you premium when you like buy your calls, they have to hedge out their books by buying the underlying. So you're already going up and then you go up more because they're buying the underlying. It's a double-edged sword though as well. A gamma squeeze can actually happen to the downside. If you're in negative gamma and you keep going down, as people continue to buy puts, the market makers have to hedge out their book by shorting the underlying, causing it to go down even more. So it's really where you see that quote unquote slippery price action. That is what a gamma squeeze is. It happens in the bullish and the bearish direction. Both are theoretically possible. On the other side, today there is something to consider referred to as a Vanna rally. So on one side, you have a gamma squeeze, which could be bullish or bearish depending on the direction you're going, but it's fueled by the market makers. The other thing is a Vanna rally, which is more of a bullish push to the upside. And this is what happens when you kind of need a little bit of positive gamma. Obviously, that can make it a bit more extreme as you're trending up. But really, it's when a lot of people YOLO into puts and they have all those puts and the market makers properly hedge out those puts. Then all of a sudden, if you see a vol collapse, well, they just don't have to hedge out as much. So they buy back some of those shorts, pushing price up. And then when price goes up, people get out of more puts, which means that once again, they don't have to hedge as many puts. So they get out of more shorts, pushing it higher and higher and higher. So a Vanna rally is a specific circumstance in which a lot of people got into puts. Vol collapses, the hedges are no longer needed, and they basically buy back their shorts, pushing the market higher. And then obviously that has kind of a positive snowball effect where it just keeps going and going and going. On the bullish side of things, yes, Vanna rallies and positive bullish gamma squeezes, they can play off of each other. But when we're talking about, I guess, like the Greek values in the world of options trading, we are talking about two separate things. Vanna is going to be a second order derivative related to vol and volatility, and specifically the collapse of volatility, while gamma is going to be the second order derivative related to delta. It's the rate of change of delta. So technically, we're talking about a phenomena related to two different mathematical aspects of options trading. So they might sound the same, and you're like, I get it. One goes up, maybe the other one goes up. One could really go up, one could really go down, like that type of a thing. But the feedback loop that we're talking about is specifically related to two different aspects of it. So I know that's a little nerdy, but I think it is good to know because right now there's a real shot that we see, well, at a minimum, I don't know about a Vanna rally. I would love to see it, but just looking at all this negative gamma on the screen right now, well, you could already see it. Look at the size of these movements relative to how things have been going on in the past. Like if you look at the SPY, we're right now going up and down a couple dollars like it's nothing. If you look at SPX, we're going up and down 10 points like it's nothing. We went from 28 to 39 down to 20, back up to 27. And we're only a couple minutes into the day. We just haven't been seeing moves of this size. I do want to point out that we just hit support. So hopefully buyers do step in at 6625. This is a major open interest level. So I'm hoping people react to it. And I would love to see us take out 39, maybe make our way up to 50, a psychological level. But then the real bullish test is, can we get the market back above 6680, and then a bigger psychological test, is 6,700. So I'm looking for this support to hold. If it doesn't, my next target, my downside target, would be 6,600. Obviously, I am personally not playing that. I am curious though of what the hell just happened in that code that fired right at market open. That feels like it was way too early. Feels like it was way too early. Speaking of which, what time is it? All right, so we're almost at the 10-minute ORBO, the opening range breakout. or breakdown, ORBO, ORBO. It's a common trade, and I'm actually in the background working on a new video related to the ORBO, and basically I need to trade the 10-minute ORBO every single day this week. And it's just for a future video. So I don't know if it's good or not. That's kind of the point of the video, is I'm putting my own money on the line, trading the 10-minute ORBO. So you're going to see me trading that in one of my accounts today, maybe two of my accounts. But I want to let you know that it's for a video. Like, I hope it makes money. Obviously, I hope it makes money. But the math surrounding it is not as good as you'd want it to be. Not as good as you want it to be. So I decided for part of my video, not only am I breaking down what an ORBO trade is, I'm getting the math stats and figures of the 10-minute ORBO. That video is actually coming out today. And then next week, I'm going to be following up using my own account as a dummy account to kind of show you guys how it plays out in real time. So every single day this week, I will be trading the 10-minute ORBO, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll be finding out. Should I even check my account today? I'm still a little gun shy, if you will, to check the account because of serious pain. Okay, it's bouncing back a little bit. But there's still quite a bit of pain in here. Ooh, not good. Oh, hang on. I do need to get the 10-minute ORBO trade set up. What is it? 24.
Order submitted.
All right. I think I have it ready. We're going to be seeing, and then after that, it's going to be a quick word from public. But I do have a pending order. I don't know which way the ORBO is going to break, whether the upside or the downside. Actually, I could just show you guys right here. Nope, not this one. Where's the 10-minute? Okay, so just for, I guess, a little discussion, let me go to the right account. So this is the first 10 minute, where my cursor is right now. This bar is the first 10 minutes. This is what happened in the market from 9:30 to 9:39 and 59 seconds. This is the first 10 minutes of the day. We obviously have the open, the high, the low, and the close. In ORBO, an opening range, that is the opening range because it's the first 10-minute bar of the regular trading hours. RTH 9:30 to 4 p.m. East Coast time. So I'm waiting to see which way this breaks. I obviously have a pending order to the south side just because it's a little bit closer. But if the market rallies, I'll quickly throw one on the top side instead. For whatever reason, Ninja only allows me to have one of these orders on at a time. So it just is what it is. Like I said, I would actually prefer we break to the upside. Obviously, I'd prefer that because I have all those bullish positions. But right now, just for the sake of the video, I wanted to let you know what's going on. This is the first 10-minute bar. The ORBO is either breaking the high or breaking the low and playing in that direction for basically a little bit. And let's see if this plays out. Looks like we are close because this low right here is 24.50. Oops, I have the pending order at 24.25. And we'll find out which way is it going to go. Which way? So the pending order is still good, I believe. Yeah, you could kind of see it here. Where's this 9:30? Okay, so this is the high all the way up at 43. Is that right? 43. Okay, so maybe we watch it on the 1 minute. That's actually pretty ugly. That one's actually pretty ugly too. Okay, we almost had the ORBO breakdown. That's interesting. Is it F3? So I'm going to mark it out. Oops. Is it F6? What is that hotkey? Is it F6? All right. So I either have to go long at 43 or I have to go short at 24.25. So it's one of these blue lines. I'm either going long there because that's the 10-minute high and this is the 10-minute low. So I might have to actually kill this order. Canceled. It looks like maybe the breakout by stop
order
market.
Submitted.
All right, I'm putting the pending order. I don't know. For a second there, I really thought it was going to be the downside one that gets clipped, and now I'm a bit confused. But I want to be clear. You should be watching the video that comes out today. Trading the 10-minute ORBO, just considering nothing else, is actually not going to be profitable for you. It can be made profitable if you add in certain other filters, such as strength of trend. Is it trading with the overall trend, like that type of stuff? But if your strategy were considering nothing else, you're like, I just take the 10-minute breakout or I take the 10-minute breakdown, whichever one happens first, that is not good. Out of the box is not something you want to be doing. Out of the box is not something you would want to be doing. Oh, wait. You guys are... Why is this not working? Did I somehow break it? Can you guys see it now? Is it fixed now? Because I'm even seeing now weird issues. Can you guys see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Yes, no, maybe so. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Here's the first 10-minute bar right on the screen. This bar right where my cursor is, you can see the open, the high, the low, and the close. The 10-minute ORBO breakout is either you're breaking a tick above the high or breaking a tick below the low. That is the ORBO trade, opening range. And then I looked at the 1 minute and I just here's the bar, and I just have the pending order for either the breakout, or if we start to go down the other way, I'll do it for the breakdown. But I think it's more easily seen right here because we made the high at 932 actually. We got all the way up to 42. Oop, do I have to switch it? Is it going to be a breakdown trade? This is actually taking awkwardly long. I don't know which way we're going to break. First, a second, I had the pending order down because of this. I was like, oh, clearly we're going to snap, but apparently not. Apparently not. I don't know which way. I wish I could have a pending order in either direction. Actually, can I do it as an OCO? Order cancels order.
Order submitted.
What is this low? The low is 2450. Yeah, you can't submit an exit order to a strategy until any of its entry orders have been filled, but it's not an exit order. That's a sell. Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me do that. Never mind. I thought I figured out a way to get around it, but I can only have one pending at a time. Yes, you can. How do you do it? How do you get it where you could have both? How do you get it where you could do both? Well, maybe it'll just be this breakout. So I need to somewhat pay attention to that because I don't want to mess up the trade on the day. But Oklo looking great. Avago, second biggest gainer. SoFi is looking good as well. AMD is looking good. Tesla is even getting a bit of a bounce there. Nvidia. Oracle is back above 303. Right now, I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I wish the dip was being bought more, but at least we're seeing some green. And then I think vol is also dying. Yeah, you have VIX is starting to get a little bit clapped here. VIX right there. So not as high, but I would love to see the VIX actually vomit below 19. That would actually make my life way easier. And on that VIX collapse, when vol is collapsing, that's when you can see what I'm referring to as a Vanna rally. That's what you could see. So hopefully we see VIX completely collapse, because then that can make an exciting trade. Oklo is looking amazing. All right, let's see if this 10-minute ORBO trade works. Hopefully I did it on the right account, but we're going to be finding out. We're going to be finding out. My buy, once again, I'm not going short. I'm going long. This is a pending buy order, one tick above the RTH high, the regular trading hours. And at first I thought we were going to go short, but nope, we never actually broke. So it looks like the ORBO breakout's going to be to the upside, and we just got to capture this a little bit for a future video. Maybe. I don't know. Are we going? We just ran. The VWAP is at 24,800. Point of control is also there. So we're just above VWAP. We're just above the point of control, and I need this to keep trending to the upside. I need it. It should go long at 43. Well, it will, because I just put in a pending order. So we're going to see. I don't know what these other trades were. Some of the trades made $91. Others lost 18. That was a bit confusing at market open. And most likely it's because of my shit code. If I really had to guess. I thought this trade, honestly, I thought this trade was already going to happen. We're like awkwardly now delayed 10 minutes later. I thought this was going to be a quick thing, like we just film it, but we're almost here at 9:50 and we still haven't gotten the ORBO breakout, which it does happen. There are times where the second 10-minute bar of the day, the high and the low, are within the high and the low of the first 10-minute bar, i.e. an inside bar. It does obviously happen. But we're going to be finding out here. Technically, this has 15 seconds to go, and if it doesn't break in the next 15 seconds, it's an inside bar. No breakout or breakdown. No breakout or breakdown. We have 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. No break. Inside bar, inside bar, inside bar right here. The second 10-minute bar of the day, the high and the low was within the high and the low of the first bar. So technically this is an inside bar. It does happen roughly 10-ish% of the time. Basically about once every 2 weeks, you're going to see the second bar being an inside bar. So I'm still going to leave this here for the point of the video.
Order submitted. Target filled.
Was that a different account? What account was that? It was the other one.
Order filled.
All right,
Target
ORBO.
filled.
All right, it worked. So technically it worked. We had to wait an awkward extra 10 minutes there, but it got in, got out, and I locked in, it looks like $185. So I ended up going long 3 contracts, and I had a 15 tick target, so 185 locked in. So once again, just trying to explain what an ORBO is. This is going to be a part of a greater video, and I'm just going to have to do this basically every single day so we can actually get some real-time data on it. But there was another strategy that randomly fired at that point that made 260, and all these other ones have not. Have not. Interesting. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. I love the fact that the SPY is going up. I mean, I want to see. Folks, I'm telling you, if you see vol collapse, if you see the VIX start to plummet, there's a good chance you're going to see a bunch of shorts get covered from market makers. And then that's where you could see what I'm referring to as a Vanna rally, which would probably work nicely with a gamma squeeze. I'm getting an alert on Rigetti, RGTI. Oh, it's going. Rigetti. Is that a new all-time high? Yes. RGTI quantum computing is not slowing down, up 11% and tagging a new high. Congrats if you played that. Open is looking pretty sickly if you ask me. That's a lower high, but it becomes dangerous if it breaks below 691. Looking at Meta, not really doing the most. A little bit of a reversal there on NFLX. Hood looking fine. Not really catching that bid. Coin, not much. Palantir, not much. Apple, Microsoft. I should have that breakdown on Microsoft. CoreWeave maybe trying to bounce a little. Nvidia is looking good, folks. Oracle's going. Oracle's maybe trying to push that 310 level. Tesla, it's still just getting walked down. I'm kind of watching this trend line on Tesla. I would love a recovery, a miraculous recovery. AMD, a bit green. SoFi was looking phenomenal on Friday, then got absolutely murked. I need this thing back above 28, 29. Avago is looking awesome. It was up 12% in pre-market, currently up 9.6, but Oklo is clearly taking the cake today. I feel silly for getting rid of my Oklo position. I'm very happy about my Avago position, but waiting on that. Speaking of those positions, how is it? Hey, Finally, a little bit of green in the account. So 1 day return 23, but the unrealized total, which is the number that matters, is up 11. But look at that, 442%. So, hey, it's helping the overall account to the tune of 10K. So I'm not going to complain whatsoever. But actually, this reminds me, a shout out to today's stream sponsor. First of all, read that disclosure. Understand that trading, in fact, can be extremely dangerous. Don't be silly about it. Remember, I'm not your mom. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but please be responsible. But most importantly, shout out to Public. You guys know I've been partnered up with them for 2 years now, and it's for good reason. They, on my humble opinion, are the best place to trade options. If you're watching this, if you're an option trader, aspiring option trader, if you're already on Public, awesome, great. You already know what the rebates are. If you're not, if you've heard me talk about it, this is the best day to sign up, because remember, you could always have multiple accounts, but I deeply believe when you start using Public more and more, you're going to realize how much you want to be on them. There are no commission fees. There's no per contract fees on stocks and ETFs. You earn a rebate every single time you trade a contract. If you buy a call, then sell a call, great. You get 2 extra rebates. Same thing with puts. If you are trading more complicated positions such as iron condors, well, think about how much your rebates are going to stack up, because now you're trading 4 legs and getting in and out. So it's really 8x. So it is an awesome place to be an option trader. There's a good reason this is the main place I trade options, because why would I not want to earn rebates? If you're a profitable trader, you'll be more profitable because of the rebates. If you're not so profitable, well, at least this thing's going to be a little bit less because you're still earning the rebates. Obviously, they have stock trading. There's no payment for order flow. They have crypto trading. They have bond trading. They have high yield accounts. They have retirement accounts. They have AI development for your own ETFs, like your own basket of stocks. They have a lot of cool stuff going on. And if you want to check it out, highly recommend it. Make sure you're using the link pinned to the top of chat and in the description of the video, because if you use that link, you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. And honestly, this is kind of a low risk for you just to check it out. I think once you get into the app, you're going to really start to realize how amazing this is. So use that link, start out at the higher rebate tier, start earning rebates when you're trading, and take advantage of the entire suite of other things that they are offering you. But Public, time and time again, is kind of proving why I believe they are the best for retail traders. So check them out, and obviously a shout out to Public. Mag 7 bouncing a little bit in the delta flow ever since 950, and then SPY as well around 946, and then again here at 950. If we look at these key levels, we are in the transitional box. So we did find double support at 6625. No surprise there. It was a very large open interest level. Once again, no surprise that we're finding support. But right now, if I had to have a target, well, I already had this marked out 6680, but do you guys see what's happening here? It's becoming huge. It's becoming a very important level. It's actually a giant call credit spread, 6680 spread by 6685. This is a call credit spread, a CCS. If you don't know what a call credit spread is, the best way I could describe it is it's equivalent to an under bet in sports betting. You're betting like the sports, whatever, the total of the game or the total of the team is below a value. This is an under bet. It is a neutral to bearish bet. This player, to the tune of 10.6 thousand contracts, doesn't care if we go up. They just don't want us to go up above 6680. So it could be 6679, and that's fine. That's why it's a neutral to bearish bet. But this bet wins if we conclude the day, 4 p.m. ET today. If we conclude the day below 6680, that's where this bet wins. However, I don't think they realize that they played it in such a dangerous situation, because if we get all the way up there, if we do get up to 6660, 6670, 6680, most likely in the event that that happens, you're going to see vol dying. Vol is already starting to die. If vol dies, that means that the market makers who are protecting themselves from all the puts that they sold to people buying the puts from them, they're not going to have to protect themselves as much for 2 reasons. Not only are we farther away, but with the collapse of vol, you just don't have to be wide in your protection. The delta is going to collapse. The delta itself is going to decay. So they're going to buy their shorts back. This is a very dangerous position to buy today. Obviously, I'm getting into like the nerdy math reasons of why it is. If you look on Twitter or whatever, it's going to just be like, yo, people bought the dip like no other. That's what it's going to be covered up as. But really, the mechanism is going to be a combination of vol collapse prompting a Vanna rally playing into the gamma squeeze. And this player, if we get up there, what's crazy about this is if we get up there, it actually becomes more and more likely that they're actually going to get blown out. Once again, coming back to the vol collapse. This is going to be crazy, actually. That I would highly, highly recommend paying attention to this level, which I already did mark it out in pre-market trading. This was kind of the upper extent of the transition zone, 6680. But if they start pushing that, I would look for almost like a rubber band effect right to 6,700 in the event that we break this out. Obviously, I tell you it's worthless to predict. I would say you should react. But obviously, if we get here, I think what's weird is the closer we get to it, it becomes more likely that we break it just because of the Vanna and the Gamma influences, which is a little bit backwards. You would think by the time we keep going, oh, like profit taking, mean reverting. No, this is actually going to, in this event, just because of how the Gamma structure is set up, it's going to actually be more of like a black hole type of a situation. It's going to be more of a black hole situation where we just get sucked closer and closer. So we're kind of getting caught into the gravitational field. And then if this player gets blown out and they choose to be like, hey, wave the white flag, and they just collapse, that's where I'm saying kind of poorly, but that is the rubber band effect right back to 6,700. And in all reality, I would expect some profit taking there today, just people buying the dip at market open, riding it all the way up, because in reality, like, I mean, what is that percentage move if we do it? That percentage move, that's a 1% plus pop in a day. So you can't, at a certain point, there are going to be short-term traders locking in their profits. So I'm telling you, 6680 is the next upside target, at least that I care about. Maybe you look at the market that way. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm just letting you know this is how the math of market making works. And you could even see the flow going into it. People are buying calls on the S&P 500.
Order filled.
Oh, fuck. Where? What's trading? Oh, they're all green. They were all red, but now they're all green. Okay, so it looks like it got in at 89 and sold at 94. So a 5-point gain right there. It traded one contract. That's why the numbers didn't change that much, is because it traded a singular contract. Remove. Okay. So we're seeing already slippage because it was a copy trader and the lead account's up 183 while some accounts are break even on the day. Interesting. And then what the fuck is this account? Oh, it's probably copy trading. So we're seeing quite a bit of, I guess, time delay. The difference between 184 and like literally $180 difference. But hey, at least there's green here. I'm only seeing one little patch of red right now. I'll take it. Ooh, look at that. Starting at 958, 959, longer dated calls are being purchased on the Mag 7, the combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. Let's see which one's getting the biggest pump right here, but you could see evidently at 959, was it Apple? No. Was it Nvidia? Yes. Okay. So starting at 958, 959, the bulls are returning on NVDA. NVDA is catching a bid. Oracle's been catching a bid ever since 945. Palantir, no. Tesla caught a bid for a little bit from 935 to 945. There was 10 minutes of bullishness there on Tesla. Netflix, no. Meta, yes. Meta's also catching a bid. You could either argue 950, but it really accelerated at 10, but Meta's catching a bid. MicroStrategy caught a bid as well for this Friday specifically. Microsoft, no. Robinhood, no. CoreWeave, a little bit. Coin, no. Avago, yes. At 945, Avago caught some longer dated calls. Apple, no. AMD, no. The Russell 2000, nothing too special. The NASDAQ this is the pure NASDAQ, the combination of NDX and QQQ. You can see ever since 940, people have been buying that dip. The Mag 7, a little bit more whippy, but looking decent since 950. And then the S&P 500 catching a bid ever since 945. A little bit of profit taking right here. You could see the 0 DTE calls are getting hit. A little bit of profit taking, but let's see if it can get a little bit of stability. I am watching the vol continue to collapse. Remember, the more vol collapses, the more likely it is that we see a Vanna rally, basically just the delta decay. The delta decay. While we were waiting for this to play out in one direction or the other, did we have profit take right at 50? Okay. We talked about that as a psychological level. Oddly enough, I didn't mark it out this morning because it wasn't really truly a big gamma level. There wasn't a lot of open interest at 50, but I'm not surprised that zero DTE traders reacted to it just as a psychological level. But once again, it's not like there's some sort of huge gamma node right at that. It's just not that level. You could argue it's a little bit of one. Here, I'll zoom in, and then you could see it right about there. Like, we're just getting, clearly these are way bigger, so I guess I could have marked it out, but that's what you're seeing right here. It's just a little bit of profit taking, but I don't think it's anything to run home to mom about. Well, before we switch up gears a little bit, just because this particular conversation has been such a heavy, dense conversation on option Greeks, and I know that some of you in here are expert options traders, but you have to understand, sometimes people click in the video and they're new. Do you have any questions on these Greek values when I'm saying gamma squeeze, positive gamma, negative gamma? Do you have any questions on Vanna? Do you have any questions on the VIX correlation? Do you have any questions on a Vanna rally? Like, are we all on the same page? Because like, I know I hit you guys with a dense amount of like options verbiage and mathematical discussions and how market makers have to react to changing environments. Any questions? If not, we can move on. But I obviously know that there is a non-0% chance that someone is a new options trader and you just clicked on this show for the first time. And I know that maybe it could be a lot. It was a fire hose worth of information. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. It's all Greek to me. Hey, that works out well. What's a Vanna rally, Matt? It is a phenomenon where a bunch of people get into puts, then vol collapses because the market's going up. Then the market makers don't have to hedge for all those puts that they sold. So they buy back their shorts, pushing the market higher, causing more puts to bust. And you see a push to the upside. It's a Vanna rally. When trading options, are you basing it off the stock price or the options price? Like, isn't there charts for options? It's just the underlying stock. Like, there isn't charts for options. It's just no, there are. You can see on a chart how an options price has changed. You just go click on the options value and you can see how it's changed throughout the day. There are charts for both. Do you search the market for a ticker with a gamma squeeze? I do not. When one of the underlyings I pay attention to is right before a gamma squeeze, I'll pay attention, but I don't go out of my way to find gamma squeezes. I watch a basket of stocks I care about and pay attention if they are in the proper environment to potentially have a gamma squeeze. Go over the Greek terms again. In the world of option trading, there's a lot of Greek terms. There's a lot. But the main things you should probably be concerned with are theta, specifically theta decay, delta. I would say those are the first two you really have to familiarize yourself with. And then from there, you should probably learn about gamma, Vanna, and charm. So if you are new to the world of options trading, start with delta and theta. Those are the two you got to get comfortable with first. And then from there, you're going to, inherently to learn about Vanna, you're going to also have to know a little bit about Vega, the change in the underlying based on an increase or decrease of vol. But basically start with delta and gamma. Google those, research those, understand those. Once you know delta and theta, then you can move on to Vanna, gamma. Those are probably the next two you should learn a little bit about. Option Greeks sound like you are casting a spell. You got to be careful because if you say it wrong, you might summon the devil. There is IV. Well, IV is your implied volatility, and Vega is the Greek that measures the change in the premium based on a change in IV. That is your Vega. And then that's going to play a little bit into Vanna. So you have first orders and then second orders. So you have the rate of change of some of these rates of change. So basically you have speed, velocity, acceleration. They're all derivative. Well, the next one is the derivative of the first. So speed, distance really, and then velocity, and then acceleration. So it's always the rate of change of the previous thing. So when I say second order, it's the rate of change of rate of change. Third order would be the rate of change of the rate of change of the rate of change. I thought a Vanna rally was when you land on 5,000 and called a letter that turned 5 on the puzzle board. It is. It's just a different type of a Vanna rally. Oh my God, is this calculus? Not really. It can be. It's kind of related to it, but Why do they call it a Vanna rally? Why not a Bambi rally? That's a fair question. You'd have to go to the naming committee on that one. When you're looking at options on public, it shows the numbers like 1,000 or 150, 200 for calls. That's the strike price. So even before you get into the world of theta and delta and those, you should know a little bit about an options contract. So I could explain one of mine to you. So right here. So my options contract, I bought calls. That's what long means. Long means you bought, short means you sold. So I bought Broadcom, AVGO, that's the ticker of the stock. I bought calls. When you buy calls, that is a bullish bet. My strike price is 360. So inherently, this contract is saying, hey, buy on or before October 24th, I believe Broadcom's going to get above 360. And this is the bet that this is that bet. So this is the number that you think you're going to be above or below. Obviously, if you're long calls, you think you're going to be above. If you are long puts, you think it's going to be below. So you have the company, you have the strike price, as in the price in question, whether bullish or bearish. Long calls is a bullish bet. Long puts is a bearish bet. And then you have your expiration date, which is when that contract expires and it's null and void and basically like the contract's done. Like that's the end of the contract. And then obviously the final thing is the value of the premium. So it's currently trading at $12.65 and I got into it at $7, which is why I'm up 81%. But relative to Friday, I am up 500%. If you say the option Greek's wrong, you summon evil John Stamos. His catchphrase is have no mercy. That is a true risk. It is a very true risk you have to consider. Can you explain the strike price? Further out of the money is cheaper, but I've seen you buy at the money or in the money. Have you determined what's the best deal? There's no such thing as the best deal. It's kind of just where you think it's going. So things are going to be cheaper to add the money because think about it. To go to 360, well, inherently, you have to go to 350 first. So when you have bets that are less likely, of course, they're going to be cheaper. It wouldn't make sense that they're all the same value because to go to 350, well, to go to 360, you first have to go to 350. So the 350 bet is more likely, as in that insurance, and that's really what options are, is going to be more expensive because it's a more likely thing. Then 360 is more likely than 370, which is more likely than 380. So think about this in the world of when you buy, I don't know, any form of insurance. The insurance is more expensive the more likely something is, and it is less expensive the least likely something is. So obviously, I bought this for $7 at 360. If I bought the $400 one, it would be cheaper because it is less likely. So I'm buying insurance on a less likely event, so they're not going to charge me as much. That's like how you can rationalize it. So that's why. And that's OTM, out of the money. That's when your strike is above the current price of the underlying. At the money, ATM is where the strike is roughly at the exact value that this is trading at. So if Broadcom were trading at 360 and I have the 360 strike, that's at the money. They're equivalent. In the money is when the underlying price is trading above the strike. So right now, if you look at Broadcom, it is trading at 359. So mine is pretty much at the money. But if we trade at 365, 370, well, now I'm in the money. And remember, when it comes to your options value, right here is trading at 1255. This is the combination of two things. How do you come up with 1255, 1258? Well, once again, it's an open market. It's just where people want to buy and sell, and price is the equilibrium of supply and demand. But then how do people come up with like what they think is a fair value? And this gets into the conversation of like Black-Scholes, this, that, the other thing. But basically, you have intrinsic value and you have extrinsic value. Intrinsic value is the difference between your strike and how much in the money you are. Intrinsic value. But you're not always technically in the money, so sometimes your intrinsic value is nothing. The other thing you have is extrinsic value, and that's a fancy schmancy math calculation on top of basically just vol. It is all those Greek values. It's a fancy calculation on that. And I just got tilted into a long position, and it is not going well. But why did they not all... I'm a little confused of what accounts are trading and which accounts are not trading right now. I'm a little confused. And it just, so it got tilted right there. At 10:10, it went long on the breakout to the new high right here. You could see it on the 1 minute in the bottom left of your screen that we tilted above. We tilted above, and then did we have profit taking? What happened? Mag 7 it popped, and we're slowly but surely grinding up. And then the S&P 500 is doing what? Nothing really. Actually took a little bit of a hit. Ever since about 10:07, we have these calls. The 0 DTE calls are getting a little bit unloaded. So people were buying calls up until 10, and then they sold a little bit. We got a second win, and then at 10:07, you see more calls selling. So some of the bullish bets are disappearing, and for this to have any shot of going all the way up to 6,680 and 6,700, you need those 0 DTE bets to definitively come back. Definitively come back. So you're not really valuing for this strike price, but for the premium value. Well, it's just different strike prices. That's not how you should look at it. Different strike prices are going to have different premium values. And it's going to be based on the market's perception of something being more or less likely. Obviously, if it is less likely, it is less valuable. If it is more likely, it is more valuable. How did you come up with 360 on your Avago? How did you determine 1024 expiration was appropriate or good just based on that? 360 happens just because that's where there was a lot of open interest. In the world of option trading, you can somewhat easily track where other people are playing. You can see where the live contracts are. And I noticed a lot of people had live contracts at 360. And then as for the date, that has a little bit to do with a calculation based on vol of basically how long will things take to get where I think they need to go. Obviously, with higher vol, you're going to have bigger ranges and you're going to go either up or down a larger nominal amount more rapidly. Well, if vol is lower, it's going to take more time. Qubits, I'm getting an alert on. It looks like, quantum computing is once again taking off. Quantum computing is once again taking off. I actually don't have a position on it, but I wonder if I should. So Qubits is currently trading at 37. You can see a lot of people were targeting 35, but that's now in the money. And the next upside target is actually 39. And this might be a little bit of a call debit spread between 39 and 40. So I don't know if the risk reward is necessarily worth it. You do have support at 35. It did take out that as resistance, so now turning into support. And it seems like the next natural target would be 39, which is pretty much, it's pretty much this high. We hit 39.50, so they either had to pick 39 or 40, and that's exactly the structure you're seeing here between 39 and 40. So in the options market, they structured the play at literally the all-time high, which I believe is, it is the all-time high. But just so you know, I have no position on Qubits, but that is looking pretty strong to me. Looks like it had a double bottom. 35. You could use 35 as your support. You could use 32. If you use 32, though, the risk to reward is a little wonky against you. At least you're trading with trend, though. Mag 7 holding flat after a nice pump. S&P 500 trending down ever since the turn of the hour. I believe I'm still in a position for the bot. Yeah, it is. But all right, we had a nice pump from 940 to 10, and now we're just waiting for the next wave. We had a wave of expansion, and now we consolidate, and that's the natural pendulum of the market. Expansion, consolidation, expansion, consolidation. So we expanded, we're now consolidating, and now we have to patiently wait here and see what the next leg is going to be. What is the next leg gonna be? Why is this not updating? Is this updating? this is. Okay, so across the entire New York Stock Exchange, which remember is bigger than the Russell 2000, they're not really doing anything today. Not yet, at least. Watching a little bit of this consolidation here, I would say let's just watch this down-sloping trend line on the SPY. It's basic. This is what you're seeing is a textbook bull flag. Here's the flag pole. You have these lower highs, you have these higher lows, like it's this flag, and you're basically seeing, okay, is there going to be enough demand from the buyers to push it above these recent highs? So this is what I would be personally watching. And you have pretty much, I mean, technically this is a bull flag and this is a bull pennant. It's all the same shit, basically. It's just describing slightly different situations. And people like to say all these fancy schmancy chart names as if they're gospel. But remember, just because you identify either a bullish or a bearish structure, that doesn't mean it has to play out that way. In fact, if you start to do a study around them, you're going to realize a lot of these structures that people swear by of like, this is a pennant, this is a bull flag, this is a high flag, this is Pikachu 2000, like whatever the fuck these names are. People, I don't dislike them. I dislike how people use them because there is, for whatever reason, this assumption that just because you see a structure, it has to work. And if you do pretty much any amount of analysis, you're going to realize that they don't always work. And in fact, the hit rate is actually probably smaller than you think it is. It's closer to the realm of like 65% of the time these structures actually play out the way that they're like quote unquote taught they should be played out. So I'm not against the structures or using them. In fact, I think they could be somewhat fine in the world of just like risk management of identifying where your risk should be. But to be quote unquote betting the farm on it, I'm not the biggest vibe of that. Of this idea of like they have to, like, it's just, once again, you have to know how to use the tool. Like everything has a time and place, and you just have to know when is the appropriate time and place to use said tool. I'm on the naming committee. Sorry, my cat just walked in. Whoa, Pika 2000, the Pikachu 3000 flag forming. That's kind of actually, honestly, the ridiculous nature of some of these names. Well, I was really hoping that after this dip at 1012, we were just going right back up to this trend line. But looks like the Mag 7, not so much. And the SPY, the 0 DTE, people started buying puts at 10 a.m. So at 10 a.m. today, people started buying 0 DTE puts. And then at a minute later is when calls started to get taken off the table. You had all this 0 DTE call buying. It's this green line, and ever since 10:01 it's been down. And a little bit before that is when there was at 9:59 basically is when you had the start of people buying 0 DTE puts. So for right now, that is the trend. It's changed ever since 10. We went from evidently bullish from 9:45 to 10, and then 10 to about now, it's been a bit more bearish in terms of the options flow, and that's almost being laid over perfectly with price. Price bottomed a little bit earlier at 9:40. We popped till 10, and then we're going down now. But, I mean, this is not so good, but if we can hold... Oh, I didn't want that. If we don't pierce, like I would say the major low is obviously the intraday low formed at 936. If we don't take that out, I think we have a real shot just because we could form a higher low and then maybe we see the flow improve. But even this, you can see people are selling calls again on the Mag 7. They did all this call buying, flat, started selling calls again, dropping the delta. So I don't know, people... It's really starting to speed up. Is there news? I'm kind of hesitant if there's news or not. Obviously, please feel free to shout at me if you are seeing breaking news that is somehow impacting the market here. No. Okay, I'm seeing nothing from Trump on Truth Social. Financial juice. Let's see. That was 7 minutes ago, 51 minutes ago. Okay, there's a lot of buying at market open. Walter Bloomberg. Let's see. Are we missing anything? 2 minutes ago, Trump lands in Egypt for Gaza ceasefire summit. Spot silver broke above 52 per ounce, hitting a record high. Spot palladium extends gains up over 5%. Okay. All right. Trump plans to welcome Zelensky in Washington on Friday. Gold just hit 4,090, set a new record. So silver hitting a record high, gold hitting a record high. But I'm not seeing any breaking news. This is probably just the options market getting unstuck. That doesn't necessarily, it's not news driven. This seems like it's purely trader driven at the moment. This dip right here between 1019 and 1022 seems to be a little bit, and even vol started to spike up right there. We had a real shot. Vol was looking weak. It was looking weak. But if we could bounce it, I'm just looking for the VIX to collapse again. VIX to collapse again. But as of now, looking on the S&P 500 SPX, we are still holding this support where we kind of double bottomed early this morning. So maybe we bounce right back up. I'd like us to take out 43, support. I don't want it to turn into resistance. So I'd like to take out 43, 44, and then obviously 50, which is where we started to see that profit taking. If anything, this was probably just zero DT profit taken, up, game of hot potato. No one wanted to be the last one. They locked in their profits, and this is just where we're at right now. The good old 10 a.m. reversal. Yeah, that seems to be a very tradable event recently. Over the past couple weeks, we've been clocking that a little bit more here and there of just these 10 a.m. Reversals. Trump is speaking in 6 minutes. Let's see. I assume it's on Israel Hamas, but you never know if he's going to get asked questions about China, so we might want to pay attention to this. All right. I have the volume on, so if they start popping, but it's allegedly going to get going at 10:30, so let's see what that has in store for us. Oops. Nope. Add alert. Okay. All right, we have a little bit. So we did have higher highs and higher lows. Then all of a sudden became evident, especially on this hit here at 1020. We had lower highs and lower lows. So basically, I marked out the extreme low of the day around the opening session, and then the most recent high that we just formed here at 1024. So I want to see what that's all about. But we had a shot for a bounce there, and it's quickly becoming undone. In fact, we dropped about 25 points. We went from 6650 down to 6625. I guess we might as well mark that out today because clearly people were playing that as a level. Clearly. 6650. All right. Let's see if support will hold. Your guess is as good as mine. This is why I'm saying we shouldn't predict. You just react. Do we start to bounce? Great. You might be able to get a long entry with minimal risk off whatever the low is and maybe play it all the way back up. On the flip side, if we start to break down, same thing. You might be able to just risk whatever the recent high is and play the flush to 6,600. Attempting to predict bullish or bearish is most likely just going to be wasting your time. Just react to the bounces, to the breakdowns, and just pay attention to risk and understand that you're pretty much going to have a 50-50 hit rate, especially if you're doing the same risk as you are to reward. Of course, you could skew those numbers by going for a lot more risk or a lot more reward. Obviously, that can skew it. But for, let's just say it's 1-to-1 or 2-to-2 or 3-to-3 or anything close to that, you're going to be right about 50% of the time. That's how it works. Looks like Piper wants to say hi to us today. What are you doing? Do you see how bad the market is? Are you coming to check in on your accounts? Because they are not looking good. Do you have anything to say to the audience? Anything to say? No? Maybe yes, maybe no? Do you think it's going to bounce? Give us a sign, Piper. Give us a sign. Should we be buying or selling? Please tell us. Please tell us. Nope. Bye. She doesn't want to deal with our bullshit today. She doesn't want to deal with our bullshit calls on Frisky. You never know. All right. The question is, are we bouncing right out of here? And it gets interesting if we can take out this 1024 high. And I would love to see that see how options are starting to pick up. Watching the options flow. So we're watching options flow with the technicals. We're kind of mixing and matching here today. We got raided by the weirdos. Why? What happened? Why did you back away? I am Matt. What are you guys talking about? Ghosting Matt on the challenge. Oh, because he's a fraud. Allegedly, he has all this money, and allegedly, he's a good trader. I told him, just sign the contract. There's no way that I'm going to help him, who's like, he's a nobody, he's a fraud, and give him any form of recognition, because when I beat him, he's not going to pay because he's a fraud. So all he has to do is sign the contract. I'm more than happy to do it. I don't think that's crazy. When you know you're dealing with a fraud, is it really that insane to be like, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm actually going to get my money? I think most people wouldn't even entertain engaging with a fraud. So I think it's even nice for me in a general sense to be like, okay, whatever. But he is literally a fraud. So, and like this, it's just social media bullshit. See, this is what happens when you have people who are small content creators. One avenue, instead of making good content, one avenue to get bigger is to just try to chirp or go after larger people, and then basically try to get that audience. And that's all this is. And if you look at his history like this, but he's not new. Like this is how social media works all of the time, is people who are nobodies and they're small try to call out bigger people to get more of a following. Like that's how you do it. Stick around, you might learn something. See, that's the thing, is these people who watch it, it's funny because like he has no proof or he has no track record. Like that's what's so fucking absurd about the world of trading, is people are more than willing to believe people that they're good at trading because they put a camera on, and yet you're like, okay, show me your year-to-date results, show me some of your broker statements, show me anything like that, and it's every excuse in the book. No, I can't do it. It's so many excuses. It's so tiresome that they will just never ever do it. So they're more than happy to tell you that they're amazing traders, and when you're like, hey, cool, like trust but verify, like maybe you are amazing, but like, can we see a little evidence of it? It's like, nope. OCO, order cancels orders and place limit orders with your ATM, but you have to do them one at a time. After you place one, select the ATM again and put that one on the chart as well. And place limit orders with your ATM, but you have to do them one at a time. But if it's a limit order, you might not get your fill, Jamal. Are you talking about the ninja thing that we're talking about? I saw his trades on PW challenge. They were perfect. Yeah, no, it was degenerate. That challenge wasn't a trading challenge. It was a luck challenge, which, hey, like if you're the luckiest, you're the luckiest. That's great. But no one in that challenge, they basically just abused PW's like rules. That all of the trading in that challenge was not real trading. It was basically who could degenerately bet one way or the other and who got lucky. So I mean, it's a challenge, but it was a challenge based on luck. And hey, I mean, I guess luck is an important skill in the market for sure, but it's not real trading. It is definitely not real trading. It was a challenge of luck, and people, it was just really easy gamified. And you know that because no one would trade that way in their own actual account. So glad our community isn't retarded. Yeah, I mean, it just shows that it takes so many communities on this planet to make the world go round, I suppose. And it's kind of sad because you see people getting sucked into other people's bullshit all the time. all of the time. They make Rumble chat seem smart. Dude, what a rare double dig. Everyone acknowledged it wasn't a skill-based challenge. It was a game. Yeah, so then what's the point about bragging about being a good trader then? So if we all admit that it wasn't a trading challenge and it was just a stupid game, how can you then also brag about being a good trader? Show us your track record. Oh, I do. All of my trades are posted in the Discord. I commonly share my accounts and my live positions. Like all of my shit is like publicly available. What's your P&L? I'm up over 100% year to date. And everyone in the audience knows it because they see my account. Tell us your P&L, bro. I show my accounts all the time. What are you talking about? Your monthly statements, I've shown year to date. I've done more than monthly. That's my point, is I'm the one who's transparent here. I show it off literally all the fucking time. And that just took, like, you're kind of embarrassing yourself because you're coming in here with this base assumption in this group where it's kind of weird that you're following the orders of this guy? Like, are you his bitch or something? That's weird, I guess, and it's right. But then also it's just, you're letting the audience know how much you don't know because the rest of the audience sees my account all the time. Like all the time. Which is something all these scammers and frauds won't do because they either don't have an account or they've blown out, or you're going to see that they're taking both sides of the trades and they only show you the good side. Like it's all these, it's just all of these things. And it's kind of pointless in reality because people are trying to make this a social media thing. And I was thinking more about this over the weekend, especially with the craziness of Friday, of like how much of a waste of a time it is, because like when there's crazy things going on in the market, you have to be paying attention to the market. And social media, the fact that like people care about it, it's so silly. And it tells you, like, it gives you an idea of who's real trader and who isn't, because there are people who still focus on social media as if that's the end all be all. And that is for them because that's their business, because they're trying to sell you something and whatever. But actual traders, they kind of care about the market as the first, second, and third most important thing. So that's another, I guess, good tool for you guys is when you're trying to like sift through who's real in this world and who's not real in this world. That's another major red flag, is the people who focus more on social media than like actual trading. Another one is when they're refusing to show you any of their actual confirmed trades on any time period. And I'm not talking about, oh, I was day trading and look how I did this day. I'm like, no, what's your last month? What's your last quarter? What's your last year? What's your year to date? Anything like that, any of it, like kind of a succession of trades rather than like one individual day, one individual trade, something like that. That's just, it's another common red flag when people don't do that. I called him out. Are you high? He literally started crying because he accused me of attacking him. When I said, hey, it all went to Pat Whelan, where I was like, hey, this is how you could improve it. The trading competition, referring to Pat Whelan at the BDH. I was like, hey, this is some ideas of how to trade it. And then he said I was attacking him because he's a bitch. Literally, he used those words exactly. Matt was attacking me. When I said, hey, Pat, actually, we could probably find it. Remember, this is a grown man saying I was attacking him. And I'll let you guys judge if I was attacking or not. Oh, I have to scroll back. Man, this is all wasting so much. It's always such a fucking waste of time. It's always such a fucking waste of time. Where is it with Pat? Where is it? Dude, I'm really scrolling back here. Is this it? Okay, here, I found it. You guys can be the judge. Patrick Whelan, he was the one running the quote-unquote luck competition. BDH, World Battle Day 2. These P&Ls are effing crazy. Okay, why are they crazy? Because it's luck. People were degenerately going long and short. They weren't trading. This is my attack. Honest question. Shouldn't the winner be based on who can withdraw the most money at the end? Otherwise, the most lucky YOLOer will win, not the best trader. Withdraw the most money, as in some sort of consistency. Most prop firms have a rule to prevent waterfall gains, to stop random luck. I love the idea of your competition, but I think it could be brought to the next level if the winners didn't randomly YOLO. For example, if contestants could only have one account max and there was a 30% consistency, you would prevent some, not all, of random waterfall gains. That was me attacking. That was an attack. A grown man actually started crying, like visibly crying, because of that vicious, brutal attack. Now you kind of get an understanding of who we're dealing with. That is the intellect and the emotional resolve of the people we're dealing with. Yeah, it was a fatality attack. Freedom options. I think you're right. I'm actually surprised I'm not banned from Twitter for how just insanely vicious I was. Just so mean of me. So brutally mean of me. Why did you have to say anything? To improve the trading competition. It's not like what do you think what do you think Twitter's for? It's to share your thoughts. Like, I thought those were actually pretty valid, useful, insights. And if no one wants to do it, no one has to do it. If I like the idea, I could do it even. Fuck, I can make a trading competition. Tesla is popping. Actually, the SPY is now popping. I've watched Matt since back in the AMC and GameStop days. He's always been transparent. He's made more money than I could count. Love you, Matt. Shout out, man. That's incredibly nice. I'm happy you're still a fan after my vicious attacks on Twitter. Clearly hate speech. Yeah, it is hate speech. Just saying, hey, very straightforward. Well, it was a very straightforward, vicious attack because I'm an incredibly mean, vicious person. How crazy is that a grown man started crying because of that? A grown man cried because of that. Just do the contest simple. But once again, it's not a trading contest. It's a luck one. You buy one account, randomly try to go long. Maybe you hit it, maybe you don't. Buy another account, randomly go short. Maybe you hit it long. It's luck. It's not trading. And the difference there is you're engaging in that account way different than you would with your own account because you don't care about blowing out because you just need one to really work. The mindset would be equivalent to when you're trying to degenerately pass one of the Apex tests. I think he's going after you because you only show your gains on Twitter and blow out your accounts. I show my accounts all the time live to you guys here. In the live show, you see the accounts. I already showed you the trades today based on, I actually called out the entry today before it even happened because I was this is exactly what I'm doing. It's the 10-minute ORBO. So how can I be hiding something for you if I'm calling out the trade before the trade's even executed? That doesn't, I don't know. It's always people will come up with all these excuses all the time to not show anything. And you're like, yo, what's your year to date? And I can't talk about that right now. I have his books and movies. Oh, this on Snowden. I did see the fictionalized one on Snowden with, what's that actor's name? He's also in 500 Days of Summer. Uh-oh. Someone's getting clocked, right? Piper. Hang on. Cat on the table. Was there... The Delta's dropping right there. Delta had a nice pump up until 1040, and you could see starting at 1041 on the S&P 500, some calls are getting dropped again, and on the Mag 7, some calls got dropped again. Did this all happen right at 50? Technically 48. So we almost got back up to that 50 level, which is the first place we saw the 0DT call buyers locking in their profits. So I guess stairs up, elevator down, because in 1 minute we undid what we did in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. Definitely stairs up, elevator down. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, I saw him when he was playing Snowden. It was an interesting movie. Broadcom's Tesla had a nice pop. Is there news on Tesla? Piper, what are we doing? She just wants attention. She just wants attention. It's all right. It's all right. You think the market's going to bounce? The world needs to know, should we be buying this dip or should we be selling this rip? BTFD or buy the effing dip, sell the effing STFR, sell the effing rip. BTFD? STFR? Yo, does anyone have a better life than cats, man? Huh? Why don't you show your funded accounts live? Shut it down quick. Well, first of all, the conversation is about funded accounts because that's just day trading, and day trading is a little silly. You make more money swing trading. But I have all these videos. I mean, I got paid out $250,000 in funded accounts with videos for all of them and proof for all of them. That's what I'm saying is people are coming in here like thinking you have a leg to stand on. There is no one more transparent than me in this game. I have videos of the success. I have videos of the failure. On Friday when my accounts were getting destroyed because I had a bunch of calls, I was showing that off. Ask anyone in the Discord. All my trades are posted. I have videos recapping good trades. I have videos recapping bad trades. I have videos recapping all of my payouts with proof of payouts. Like, it's super, super awkward that you're coming in here thinking that like I'm somehow hiding something. People are acting they are actually, they have to be brand new to the show because anyone who's been here for more than 2 times, you're like, yeah, I've seen actually Matt's account all the time. See, you can have animals in your shot without a shock collar, Hassan. Oh, I think I saw something about that drama. Hassan, the Twitch streamer. He was mean to his dog, right? He was mean to his dog. There's a special place in hell for people who are mean to pets, for sure. Dude, look how calm this cat is. She just wants to vibe. She just wants to vibe. Yeah, I did see that, though. That's insane. I don't really know the exact details of it, of the whole story, but I saw that, yes, something with he had a shock collar on his dog, and it seemed kind of inappropriate of when he chose to shock the dog, and it became like this whole thing, and it was Hamas Piker. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm really that big of a fan of him, but like I said, people who abuse pets definitely deserve a special place in hell. Why are you entertaining these idiots, bruv? That's a good question. Why are we, Piper? Do you want a nap? She looks tired. Hang on. Let me put her in her bed. She can nap. She can nap, and we could talk about the market. She could nap, and we can talk about this market. What is the flow looking like? Is this the higher low? We definitely have lower highs, but is this a higher low or a little bit of a weird cup and handle? Looks like we were getting a clear cup and handle on Avago. If you missed the news on Avago of why it's up 10.2%, deal with OpenAI to make a specialty chip for them. Do you think trading is gambling? It kind of depends on how you define gambling. But I think many things in this life are just risk and reward. You're taking on a certain risk for the potential of a certain reward. Is college gambling? Maybe. You're taking on the risk of all that student loan for the reward of ideally getting a job. So it's really, now we're getting into the nuances of what is gambling. But yes, in the market, you can take on risk and there is potential for reward, which I don't think is really distinct from many things in life. Matt is the best trader on this side of the Mississippi. Hell yeah, Charlie. That's funny. But for those of you who are stopping by at the behest of just a nobody who is trying to like get my audience, I do appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the extra views. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Honestly, I think you should stick around and watch some of the video updates because you're going to realize what it's like of a person who actually is a real trader making money actually out of the markets rather than a person who's just a marketer trying to sell you a $4,000 course. So I get that you're right here now as like a hate view, and I do appreciate that because that is directly making me money. So that's awesome. But while you are are here. I would appreciate it if you could give hate views to some of the other pieces of content, because I think after watching some of the stuff, you're going to no longer be watching it as a hate view. I think you're going to be watching it as like something actually informative, where ideally you can approach the market in more of a stats-based manner, like actual stats, facts, and figures, rather than just random guessing and wasting your money on a $4,000 course of a guy who doesn't even know what he is talking about. So keep the hate views coming, and I think eventually you're going to turn it into fan views as you learn more and more. Courses are for horses. That is well known. The horse community does love courses. Better than a course, he has free content and real information. Yeah, that's why I'm making fun of these other people. Investing is a gamble, not investing is also a gamble. Yeah, everything. I mean, back to that question of like, is the market gambling? It's really just like a very specific definition of how are we defining all of this stuff, because I don't think there's a way to define gambling without then applying that to pretty much every decision that we're making. I've never bought a course. Always seemed to me that anyone who'd mastered trading wouldn't need to charge a course. They would bring it. No, I think there are. I'm not completely against courses. Like, for example, I remember a while ago, I took some courses that all of the information is out there, but I think the advantage of courses is sometimes people are putting it together in an efficient, compact manner where you then don't have to seek out all these different things. So I remember a while ago, I would take courses on, I don't know, like some of the nuances of Vanna and charm and that type of stuff. And I didn't mind it. Of course, I could have found all the information for free, but I would then have to go out and find it all for free.
Order submitted.
Order submitted.
Target filled.
Target filled. Yep. That's just a guy who doesn't trade, though. Lance has a course and it's pretty legit. I know who Lance is. I haven't taken his course, so I can't say anything positive or negative about it, but I think they have their time and place. I don't think there's anyone putting things in a course that you can't find elsewhere for free, but I would really, the way I think you should think about it is, for the course value, are you willing to pay to have someone, maybe you like the way they explain it, maybe you like their examples, maybe you just like the fact that they went out and put all of that information in an easy to digest way. Matt bought a course. I have, actually, and the more than courses, I bought a ton of trading books. I actually like trading books the best. There's some phenomenal traders out there and investors out there, and I mean this literally and figuratively, market wizards who kind of distill their approach to the market. And it's kind of crazy to be able to see, especially when you start reading a lot more trading books, that there's a borderline infinite amount of way to approach the markets. And you see a lot of people who have completely different strategies, and yet they're still profitable. And then beyond that, especially on like the Twitter sphere, you see a bunch of people who are promising you that they're profitable, and yet none of them are. So it's kind of interesting observation. Gambling is a chance to win. I think stock market is more of a charity. I give money and don't get it back. Well, for most people, unfortunately, that is true, especially as active traders. Remember, the shorter your time frame, the more likely it is that you will not be making money. If you are a day trader, one of the first things you can do to increase your odds of success is move to swing trading. From there, you could be a longer swing trader. And then from there, you can move to investing. Obviously, the risk reward dynamic changes. The potential for reward is highest on the shortest time frame, but it is the most difficult to achieve that award. So it's kind of a balancing act. While investing is your highest odds of success, the ceiling is much lower, and it just has to do with you're capturing the move. Are you capturing it over a decade? Are you capturing it over a year, a month, a day, a minute, like that type of shit? But remember, it is inverse. The shorter your time frame, the less it is likely for you to be successful for any measurable amount of time. I'm not talking about like one individual trade or one individual day. I'm saying for you in your trading career, we have a lot of data on this. And that's like one thing that's pretty cool about a lot of these brokerages are now publicly traded companies, and they'll offer that information in their earnings announcements, especially with the specific to retail trading of just the odds of how people are doing. And we know via these just SEC filings and whatnot, the shorter your time frame, the more likely it is that you are not doing well. The longer your time frame, the more likely it is that you are doing well. It's actually kind of crazy for active day traders. I think one of the most recent things that came out of Robinhood's earnings last time, it was in the mid 90s. The mid 90s is the percentage chance of you losing money as an active trader. What's your turning point to leave your 9 to 5 and start trading full time? Mine was a very, very unique story because I was the largest streamer during the whole GameStop AMC thing. So mine it was a lot more content because content specific. Because before that, I was trading on the futures market with my algorithms, but the algorithms are the algorithms. So I still had a job to make more money. I didn't have to sit there and manually trade because I wrote a bunch of bots that traded for me. So there was no real need to quit my current job because I was making money off of trading and I was making money from my job. So if anything, I viewed my job as a way to put more money into my trading account to grow it faster. There wasn't really a point where I was like, okay, cool. I'm making so much money manually trading that I need to do this full time because it should take my full focus. And it's really never been that for me because sometimes I still manually trade, but generally that's when I'm losing money and doing stupid shit. That's one of the very, very nice things about being an algorithmic systematic trader is it gives you a lot of, I guess, time flexibility to really do whatever the hell you want, because ideally you're putting in all that upfront work to create the system. And of course it takes time to maintain it, but the time you have to put in for maintenance is far, far less than what you would do cumulatively as in day trading day in and day out. When I was an undergraduate finance major, we had to read A Random Walk Down Wall Street. I've read that book. I think it's good. I think it's, I don't know if it's, I would consider it to be a must read, but I think it's good if you're looking for a book suggestion. Do you miss your mom's basement? I do. I do. Can I hire your bots? No, I don't. Maybe one day in the future. See, I'm more interested in teaching other people how to make bots than just selling my bots or renting my bots out or anything like that. I find much more joy in the conversations to be had of teaching other people how to make bots, because even from that process, generally it sparks a bunch of questions from a person, and maybe they look at the market differently than I do. So I think even for myself, I find it super, super helpful, because sometimes I think you could have blinders on and you just get really stuck in your own view of the market. But yeah, I guess just I enjoy it more. Do you think Larry Williams relates to today's market? The LTS4STT, I don't know what the hell that is. What the hell is the LTS4STT? Oh, the long-term secrets for short-term trading. Do I think it relates to today's market with it being published in 2011? Without a doubt. Because I think it's a good general framework of how to approach the market. And market regimes change. For example, back when he wrote that, zero DT trading was nowhere as close to prolific as it is now. But still the general idea of risk management, identifying trend, and just the general approach to the market of understanding that there's going to be variance and you're going to take bad beats, but you're also going to have lucky wins. And I like it, and I think it'll always stand true because it's a solid general approach to the market. I don't think it necessarily was hey, this is exactly the regime we're in, and it's a bull market in gold, so we're just going to be long gold. Well, technically, if you did that right now, it'd work well. So that's a poor example of what I'm trying to say. But in the book, I wasn't really getting, my takeaways weren't the specifics of that exact market. It was more of a general approach of what is trading and how do you win at this game of trading, and then you're applying that to the current market. what are the first questions you ask yourself to start a bot? Oh, generally for me, I split my bots into two types of things, either trend following or mean reverting. So I generally start there of like, is what I'm about to do. Is it going to be a mean reversion system, or is it going to be live on Forbes, or is it mean reverting or trend following? So for me,
you were talking about
we'll listen to Trump.
Iran peace deal. You said we are ready when you are. Is that the ultimate goal with today's signing to get enough?
Not Iran, but I think Iran will come along. They've been battered and bruised, and they need some help. They have big sanctions, as you know, tremendous sanctions. I'd love to take the sanctions off when they're ready to talk, but they can't really survive with those sanctions. Those sanctions are very tough. But at some point, they're going to say, we want the sanctions off. We're going to end up with peace. I think Iran is going to be fine. I know so many Iranian people. They're great people. They're smart, great people. Engineers, lawyers. I mean, they're academics. But they took a big hit. And frankly, if we didn't hit them with the nuclear, I don't think you would have been able to have this incredible this deal, this once-in-a-lifetime deal. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening today. And countries have all come together, all different countries. Some liked each other, some didn't, most didn't. And they've all come together. Every country has come together. And by the way, Iran did put out a statement, that they support this deal very wholeheartedly. So that was in itself something. But no, I think they want to, that's all I do in my life. I make deals. And they want to make a deal.
President, walk away from now that the living hostages have been returned, can you please tell us what the next steps are to phase
Well, they're going and looking for bodies. It's a pretty gruesome
You have
task.
support at 6620 now.
They know where numerous are, as you know. I guess 5 or 6 are in yet now.
Vol's picking up a
they're
little
looking
bit.
for bodies. They know the areas, and they search parties out, and they're doing it in conjunction with Israel. And they're going to be finding quite a few of them.
President Trump, can you tell us when phase 2 of the negotiations will begin?
Well, it started. It started as far as we're concerned. Phase 2 has started. And, the phases are all a little bit mixed in with each other. They're going to start cleaning up. If you look at Gaza, it needs a lot of cleanup. That's why when I talked in my speech, I talked about the debris. I used the word debris. That's debris times 10. So, but they're gonna really do a job. They have a lot of power. In another room, you have some of the wealthiest nations in the world. All leaders, the big leaders are here. The emirs and the kings and everybody, and it's a very interesting group. I guess we have like 35 countries, and that's only because they were the 35 that we invited. Everybody that we invited came. So there's a lot of respect. And I think you'll see some tremendous progress, both in the Middle East. This country is doing very well. It has good leadership. It's about leadership. And it's really nice when you say, how is your crime situation? And they don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean crime? We don't have crime. Because if he has crime, he puts it out very quickly. Some people think that's not nice, but I think it's great. Because people don't want to be mugged and smashed, and they don't want to be stupid people. They have a place that is doing very well. We're very proud of it because we knew each other from the beginning. The first time I met, it was in a hotel, and I was going to meet him, and then Hillary Clinton was following me. Remember Hillary Clinton? And he liked me so much, he never even got to see Hillary. He saw her for about 2 seconds. But he didn't really want to waste a lot of time. He knew what was going to happen. But that was the first time we met, and we had a very good chemistry together. And it continues till today. So I want to thank you all very much. I appreciate the way you covered this really momentous, I've never seen anything like it. The level of love, the level of respect for what it is. And it's peace in the Middle East, and everybody said it's not possible to do. And it's going to happen, and it is happening as before your very eyes. And that's why it's become so fascinating. Marco, do you have anything to say?
Egypt's been a phenomenal participant. I think both Steve and Jared will tell you the critical role they played in they can tell you themselves. They hosted the talks here, and they're going to play a very important role now in the follow-up, the implementation of this, which is really, it's not simply about restoring Gaza, it is about transforming the region. So we have an incredible partner, a long alliance,
Really
very capable
shaky
partner
here,
here,
brother.
and a tremendous collection of leaders. This is clearly, in my mind, I think in the mind of everyone in this room, probably one of the most
Mag
important
7
days for
just
world
got
peace
clocked.
in 50 years. And that's not an exaggeration.
Only 50?
Maybe 100. Certainly since the end of World War II, Mr. President.
Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner, I'm curious, you played such an important role in the tactical negotiations here. What will your role be going forward as a lot more has to be brought to the table here?
Oh, the minute we had inked the deal, Jared and I were already working on the implementation side of the deal. So we're dug in. We'll be here quite a bit. That's at the direction of the president. That's probably going to be one of the most important phases here. Jared is remarkable to work with. I talk about it all the time, and of course we both love working for the president. So it's feels like a very honorable job.
Mr. President, would you like to say something with the interpreter?
Yes.
اسمحوا لي في البداية ان انا ارحب بفخامة
This camera, dude.
انا سعيد وكل شرف موجودة في شرم الشيخ مدينة السلام. يسمح لي بخط رئيس ان انا اسمي وباسم كل
Falls picking up again.
وكل محب السلام راجل لك التحية والتقدير والاحترام على تحية هذا الإنجاز الرائع والعظيم.
Well, first of all, Your Excellency, I welcome you to Egypt. It's a great pleasure and an honor to have you with us here in the city of peace, Sharm el-Sheikh. Allow me also to extend, on behalf of all Egyptians and peace lovers around the world, salute, the appreciation, and the respect for this unprecedented and momentous accomplishment by your hands.
أنا كنت متأكد فخامة الرئيس أنك الوحيد القادر على تحقيق هذا الإنجاز والإنهاء.
I've been very confident that Your Excellency is the only one who is capable of bringing this about and bringing an end to this war.
وأنا في خلال اتصالي بفخامة الرئيس ذكرت له ذلك بدل قلت لفخامة الرئيس أنت وحدك القادر على تحقيق السلام في منطقتنا.
I even said that very precisely during my communication with Your Excellency, that you are the only one who is able to bring about peace and to achieve peace in this part.
بشكرك فخامة الرئيس.
I thank you, Mr. President.
ولكن عايزين نستكمل نثبت وقت إطلاق النار ونطلق السراح كل الرهائن وحتى يعني للأسف الجثث المتبقية في أسرع وقت عشان تسلم إلى ذويهم في إسرائيل ثم إدخال المساعدات ونستكمل باقي المراحل.
What we need to do now is to fixate the ceasefire and make sure that it maintains and sustains, that we can deliver all of the remaining, the bodies of the deceased to the families. This is very
Spy, intraday
to
low.
bring in more humanitarian assistance into the strip and working very closely on following up.
Wow, the Mag 7, it was Microsoft
that should be taken
right there.
to make this
Microsoft got clapped at 11.
Very great. Thank you.
That's very nice. Thank you.
He's a good man.
What the fuck is that? No, that's the camera?
Will he be on the board of peace, sir?
I'd like to have him on the board. I'd like to. We may need an interpreter, but that's
Remember,
okay.
there is support right here at 20. Wouldn't be that crazy if we bounce back up to 50 from here. I'm watching this support.
You can't do better.
The board of peace, I'll be there.
We've had many leaders want to be on the board, actually. The Board of Peace, it's taken on, Steve, I'd say a life of its own. Do you want to discuss that? What's happened?
I think we have a long list of applicants to be on that board.
Everybody wants to be. That's very nice. That's better than the other way. Usually it's the other way. Nobody wants to be on the board. But it's really taken on, this whole thing has taken on a life that's very different. So it's been really a great honor. And you people have done a fantastic job. I want to tell you, we appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, thank you, guys.
Hold it 1 second.
Everyone's just screaming.
I just want and look forward to Your Excellency's support and your sponsorship with us in the conference for the reconstruction.
Thank you. 100%. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, guys. Let's go. Thanks, guys. Let's head out.
All right. Well, folks, Vol's picking up a little bit. And as vol, when I say that, I mean the VIX, like the VIX, which is the volatility of the S&P 500. So that's picking up, which is obviously associated with the hit that we took from 10 to 1025. We had a little bit of a reversion. As of now, appeared to be a little bit of a dead cat bounce, and we just peaked to the intraday low. The SPY hit a new intraday low, while the Q's technically, do I want to take this trade?
Order submitted.
All right, I did. Obviously just risking this recent low. I was waiting to see if we maybe bottom here. Why I'm interested in this bottom is because of this right here. You have this support at 6620. Look at that, 6620. Maybe we bounce out of here. I don't know if we will or we won't. Remember, when it comes to trading, you're basically going to have 50-50 shots. So if you're telling me I have a 50% chance of being right, that's fine if my payoff is way bigger than my risk. My risk is this low. My payoff is we bounce all the way back up. So if I'm right half the time, that's fine. Half the time I take a little loss. The other half of the time I have a big win. So, and actually we're about to lock in, almost locked in at 800. I have, my fill is right here at 800. My fill is right there at 800. And this isn't my, this is just, it's in there because the ATM, that's not my actual target. This is my first target. Then I just want to move my stop to break even. You guys know how I do it. Bit of a bummer though. We got to 99 point, oh, lock it in.
Order
there we
filled.
go. All right. Now I have a runner. Is that easy? What are these highs? Okay, we'll just do this next one at 900. I'll just leave it there and whatever. If it hits, it hits. If it hits, it hits. But honestly, folks, it's that simple. Like 50-50 shot. I locked in some, break even. All right, 50% chance I get knocked out for break even. 50% chance I get to run it all the way up. It's probably not exactly those odds, but you get it. Like I have no risk. I took all risk off the table. This is a free play. This is a free lotto ticket play. And just easy peasy lemon squeezies. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. So we'll see. If it bounces here, great. I'll seem smart. If it doesn't bounce here, it didn't cost me anything. So why? It's a free lotto ticket play. And what's crazy about it is we're bouncing exactly at this gamma level because that's what gamma levels do. So I would love the bounce back up to 50. Looks like some people were playing 50 here. So maybe we could get a bounce all the way up to here. And then if the bulls are still hungry, that's when we're talking about testing the call credit spread up here at 6680. So in the bull scenario, you're watching 6650, 6680, and then 6,700 as like your third, whatever, your reach target. In the bear scenario, you'd be looking for a retest of 6620 and then a breakdown of that down to 6,600. And below that, you have 5580. So those would be your three downside targets. Obviously, the first group, 50, 60, and 700 are your three upside targets. I am biased to the bull side just because I think we, with respect to risk to reward, I really like this concept of a potential Vanna rally. And I'm thinking that people are going to want to buy the dip. So maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong on it. I'm too over levered in my swing positions anyway for this. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is 50% chance. You're either lose a little or you don't. Easy math, even if it's wrong. Exactly. I think a lot of people are trying to trick you into believing that there's some sort of methodology and model where you're right all the time. And if you could pull that off, first of all, you would never tell anyone else because you would just be trading it all the time and you'd be a billionaire. So first of all, it just doesn't exist and I hate it. And I get why people fall for it, because if you're new to trading, you just don't know what's what. You don't know what's possible, what's not. But I'm here to tell you that I don't think that there's any content creators that put as much time into the mathematical analysis of the data of trading. That's my background. I studied comp sci. I studied statistics. I'm here to tell you, especially when day trading, you have a 50-50 shot. You have a 50-50 shot. So how are you profitable with 50-50? It means you really have to control your risk and let your winners run. Of course, you can invert that. You can, if you're like, okay, data goes up and down 50-50, bulls, bears, like whatever, this, that, the other thing, that's fine. Another thing you could do is go for really small profit targets and take on large risk and just hope that you get all those little like singles before you take the bad beat. That's another way to do it. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think they can all be made into and utilized in a profitable trading system. I think it's all possible. You just have to kind of know what you're engaging. But the one thing that doesn't exist is a low risk, super high win rate system. Those two things don't go together. If you are winning all the time, you're taking on larger risk. If you're rarely winning and your risk is small, okay, well, then your reward's most likely going to be big to balance it all out. But what doesn't exist is super low risk, super high win rate, super high average return systems. That does not exist. That combination doesn't go together. So if you're winning all the time, you're winning small, taking on large risk. If you are not winning all the time, well, the way you balance that out is when you do win, your win should be big. And when you're wrong, it should be like little paper cuts. That's how to do it. But hey, no, I mean, it's looking good for me. I caught that. And I get it. If you read all the chats in here today, Matt doesn't trade. Matt doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't show his trades when he's doing it live. I don't know what this is. That's not me. Well, honestly, I can't disagree. You are right. This was Icarus. This was the system. So here I was about to be cocky and egotistical, making fun of you guys, but technically I can't. If I were a lawyer, I'd be like, but Matt, you didn't do the trade. Icarus did the trade. Piper did the trade. So here I was letting my ego get ahead of myself, and I was about to be like, yeah, no, look at me. I'm up $1,000 on this runner. But technically it's not me. So I think I've just now embarrassed myself. I've now embarrassed myself. So to all the people who are like, Matt, you're not trading at all. This is bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Technically, you're right. Technically, you are right. I lose every day means Matt has more chance to win. Can you believe that there's people who want to be in a trading challenge against this? Blows my mind. Looks like it's a pie in your face, Matt. It does feel like that. It does. Well, obviously, I'm looking from a technical perspective to see if we could take out the 1035 high. With respect to SPX, you better be watching 6650. That's a slight overshoot. Obviously, you have the intraday high at 6655, so 5 points more. So watch this 1040 high. Watch the key psychological and now important negative gamma node at 6650. And then from there, you're watching 80. That would be, whoa, look at that delta just popping. Yeah, you're watching this. Look at that. That's turning into a black hole. Big gravitational pull. And look at that. My runner is running. All right, I'm moving my stop up even more. I'm long at 88. My stop is at 16 as it keeps going. That's not even really my target. I'm just moving it up to move it up. When you're a trend following trader, the point is to follow the trend as long as you can. I'm just going to park this at 24,999.75. But really what's going to happen here is this at some reversion, my stop is probably going to get hit. And we'll see how long that goes. Runners are running. Runners are running. What a recovery. What a recovery we are having. Obviously, I care a lot about us taking out this high that was made at 1040. It's roughly 24,890. And then we do also have an intraday high at 24,913, it looks like. So I'm watching this high at 1040 and I'm watching this high at 1012. Quite a bit of profit taking. Seems like the bulls are fighting back. Let's see. Let's see. Avago not doing the most right now. Oracle is up 5%. Tesla was looking good. It might be fighting back now. So I gave you the levels. That's what I'm watching. I'm also watch for vol to die. Remember, vol dies and you can get a Vanna rally. I actually don't even know what it comes up with. Oh, spot gamma. Options Vanna rally. We introduced the concepts. So if you search Vanna rally, is this free for everyone? Oh, it is. Vanna Rally. I would highly recommend you read this. It looks like they wrote it back in 2019. There are very few options analytics firms that I trust more than Spot Gamma. And by that, I mean there's no options analytics firms. But right here, long calls, short puts, long Vanna. So you could probably learn quite a bit. Breaking down options Vanna. No, not that Vanna. That's actually pretty fucking funny. So I assume that's going to be good for you. What is this one? Who's options Ricky? A Vanna rally in the stock market refers to the phenomenon driven by options market specifically tied to the Greek term Vanna, which measures how an options delta sensitivity to the underlying stock changes, which shifts in implied vol. Remember, as vol drops, that's where you could see the Vanna rally because market makers don't have to protect themselves at all of the puts that they've been selling. This was written back in February. Probably good information. Oh, wow. Look at that. Just making a bunch of money. Look at that. Have you guys noticed that all those chirpers are getting real quiet? You guys notice how funny that is? You guys notice how interesting it is? There's a lot of tough talk of, Matt, do the trading competition. And then they actually start to see my trades and all of a sudden everyone's getting real quiet. Real quiet. It's interesting. I don't know. It's just funny. I think it's funny. But hey, maybe I just find humor in places that I shouldn't. Wow, vol's coming. What? I have an alert for VIX cracking 19.18, which is what we hit in pre-market trading at 3 a.m. If we can see vol get crushed all the way back down to 16, it's probably going to be a combination of a Vanna rally and a gamma squeeze. You would want to see a bunch of calls being bought. You'd want to see vol die, and then that's the ultimate setup for the play back to 6,700, which is currently 53 points above where we are. So watch 50, watch 80, watch 6,700. That's my game plan for the day. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. It is what it is. I'm not your mom. I'm not in charge of your money. But that is, I guess, my view on this. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord at a certain point. Dude, I just look at this. Where do I even want to move it to? I just want to keep moving this up. Oh, it's the voices in his head. Oh, there's a lot of them. I think Matt is boring the market to death and killing my calls. That is my plan. That's the plan. I'm boring it to death. Boring it. Dude, look at snagging this low. snagging the low of the day, riding this puppy all the way up. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal in the slightest. Unrealized, my total P&L, geez. All right, folks, that's kind of it. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord. Remember, everything you see on the internet is real and no one ever lies. And if there's a digital footprint of any piece of information, it is 100% real. It is 100% accurate, and you should undoubtedly 100% believe it. There is no such thing ever as people ever lying on the internet. If you find it on the internet, it is 100% real, and you should 100% believe it. That's just a little takeaway that I want you guys to all consider for the remainder of the day. We'll be posting an update video later on. That's going to come out right after the market closes, and then we're going to be streaming tomorrow morning. And I do want to remind you that Powell's going to be doing a speech midday tomorrow around lunch. I think 12:20 ET. Powell, the chairman of the Fed, is going to be doing a speech. So I just want to call that out and just put it on everyone's radar. But obviously, good luck. Vol is high, gamma is negative, and we're getting some big moves. And I have the exact levels that I'm watching, and I hope that they help someone else who's also watching. So best of luck. I hope you crush it. I hope you were able to survive Friday, and I hope you're able to really capitalize on some of the movement today. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Peace.